Armchair lawyers unite! Oh! That's a good point. Why is everyone talking about a lawsuit? Let them figure it out. Just get on with it. Jesus Christ. Well, the reason people are talking about it is because it's news. It's Star Citizen news. It's something that's happening, and it's something that I want to cover on my channel because I think we should cover the Star Citizen project, warts and all. And I think it's important to do that. Whether or not it's entirely bullshit, whether or not it's got some merit or whatever, is almost irrelevant. It's news. It needs to be covered. And it needs to be watched because, you know, we are backers, we're the investors, we're the people that help develop the game, and we push it in the direction that we want. And we need to vent sometimes. We need to say, what, how has this happened? Why are they suing? So, for people that don't know what's happened, and too long didn't read, don't worry too much about it in the moment. But for people that don't know what happened, Crytek are suing CIG in regards to Star Citizen, breach of contract, and copyright infringement. And the crux of it is that Crytek have basically stated that it was promised by CIG that Star Citizen would exclusively use the CryEngine, which technically it still is, even if they're using Lumberyard. They'd help develop CryEngine further by giving Crytek updates related to the source code, and they'd have appropriate logos and stuff in the game, and they'd only develop a single game using the CryEngine, or they only licensed under their game license agreement to do a single game, Star Citizen, not Squadron 42. That's not included. And Crytek want money, damages for that breach of IP and breach of contract. And if you look at it, on the face value, if everything that Crytek say is true, which potentially is, it's unlikely, but it potentially is, then CIG have broken a contract and they owe Crytek some money. But what's more likely is that either Crytek, they broke the contract with CIG, or CIG bought out of the contract or something. There's something here which is odd, because companies normally would wait until a game's released. So it would be much more beneficial for Crytek to wait until the game's released if they had a genuine suit against CIG, because they'd go, right, let's wait until they start making money from actual sales, because what they've made so far is pledges and donations and crowdfunding money, and not even a fraction of what the game potentially could make in the future. So it just seems odd to me. Now, I don't know. I know a little bit about UK law. I know fuck all about US law and about these kind of big things. So all of my knowledge comes from literally reading the document and Reddit. And there is a lot of information there, and it's a lot of armchair lawyer. And, you know, everyone's going to have an opinion. And that's fine. You're allowed your opinion. You're allowed to say fuck Crytek. You're allowed to say, how did CIG let this happen? You're allowed to say stuff like that. That's cool. Vent. It's just an odd situation. Objection! But for people that want to read the original document, here it is. Let's chuck it. Chuck it up on screen as well. That is actually... So basically, this was filed yesterday. Or the day before. When was it filed? Let's actually have a look. On the 12th. So a couple of days ago. And basically is Crytek saying, this is why we want money from Cloud Imperium Games. And saying that... let's get down here. They're developing a separate game using the CryEngine without permission, which is Squadron 42. They removed Crytek trademarks and copyrights when they moved over to Lumberyard. They didn't have the splash screen stuff anymore. They said that they promised to exclusively use the CryEngine. They said they'd collaborate with CryEngine and Crytek on developing the CryEngine. They disclosed information to third parties about special secret CryEngine things, even though the CryEngine is freely available now. But at the time, obviously, it probably wasn't. I need to do a bit more research into this whole thing. But it's relatively irrelevant, what I think, because what will most likely happen is either it will get dismissed or there'll be a settlement from CIG. If they've broken a contract... It's really open and shut for me, from my layman's point of view. It's, does CIG have a contract with Crytek for these things? And was that contract broken by CIG? Kind of as simple as that. Now, Crytek almost went bankrupt in 2016, I think. They stopped paying a load of their employees. Some of which weren't paid for months, apparently, and they closed down 5 of their studios. And Amazon, I think for like 75 million or something, bought up the CryEngine and made it into their Lumberyard thing. And we don't know what contract was made between CIG and Crytek. We don't know the contract that was made between Lumberyard and Crytek, or Lumberyard and CIG, or Amazon and CIG and Amazon and Crytek. So it's all a bit of everyone just having a fucking random stab in the dark and a guess. And that's all we can do at the moment. There's just interesting things here as well, because they're saying things like the series Bug Smashers is showing off secret codes and stuff from CryEngine that they're not allowed to show, which could be true. And that Faceware, the guys that are doing the face over IP stuff, they shouldn't have been privy to the CryEngine source code. But they didn't mention Ilphonic or Cytec, who were also partnered briefly with CIG, and even Intel, who were probably partnered when they were developing the Optane drive, at least in some way, to make it slightly more Star Citizen optimized, or for marketing purposes or whatever. Which is interesting. It strikes me that they don't want to get certain parties involved, such as Amazon and such as Intel. It could very, very likely be that it is just a cash grab from Crytek, but it also is just as likely at this stage that CIG have broken some form of contract with Crytek. We just don't know. We just don't know. And CIG's comment on the matter is... I'm going to get a PC Gamer article here, which I will link for you. And we'll talk about it in a second. I'll take questions from the audience. So, an unnamed spokesperson for CIG, which is really weird, actually. So normally when you get a reply to an article or whatever from CIG or from a company, they'll give a name or say they're a spokesperson or whatever, but it just said a reply from Cloud Imperium Games stated. No names, not even spokesperson, no community management, whatever. So this could be Altwin directly, this could be This could be a community manager. This could be anyone. This could be David Swarford. It could be fucking anyone. CIG hasn't used the CryEngine for quite some time, since we switched to Amazon's Lumberyard. This is a meritless lawsuit that we will defend vigorously against, including recovering from Crytek all costs incurred in this matter. It's great that CIG replied so quickly, very important, but it was very much a sweeping, like, we haven't done anything wrong, which you'd expect them to say whatever. Now, I do trust CIG. I just think it's... people need to be very aware that in these kind of legal cases, it's normally a company trying to get a settlement. And Crytek may have been wronged. We don't know. CIG could be totally in the clear and like, no, we haven't done anything wrong. But Crytek could be trying to stall progress of the game. They could be trying to force CIG to settle quickly because Squadron 42 is about to release and they can't release until this is dealt with, or something like that. That's the sort of thing that they'll want to do. They'll try and put an injunction on them developing the game until the lawsuit's settled. Stuff like that. I expect to see a bit more about this in the future, but it could be that it just gets brushed to the side and it would take several years to be done. It's just odd that they're going effectively, what Crytek are doing here, is they're saying that the crowdfunding money is all because of the CryEngine, and they're owed some of that money, if not all of that money. It's basically what they're saying in their lawsuit. And obviously, it's an exaggeration of what they want. They're trying to get as much money as they can from the other side. But it's just an odd thing, because the game hasn't sold yet, if you think about it. But let's take some questions. Let's talk about this Chozabadoz. Do you think the Crytek should be made to wait for any damages awarded until CIG actually start to earn their own money? So, if for some reason they were, it went to trial by jury, because that's what they've requested, they'd work out damages as best they could then. Now, yeah, so I'd assume that in that situation, they'd say, right, we don't know what damages are until the game's actually fully sold, until it's like a year into its selling or whatever. So yeah, the idea of courts as well is in a lot of situations they're supposed to be relatively reasonable when it comes to damages and when it comes to that sort of thing. So they're not going to say, oh yeah, you used the CryEngine, naughty, and now your game's going to collapse, because that would have damaged, no one's going to make money from that in a good way. Like, it just seems a bit derpy. So you got to kind of trust in the system a bit. I'm not too sure about how this kind of slightly sensationalist American system works. Well, it's actually might not be an American system. It's what, Crytek are German? It's an American lawyer, isn't it? So I don't know. So a lot of shit I don't know here, so apologies for that. More shit than normal. But yes, I think that I don't know why they filed before the game's out. If you want to ask a question or want me to read something, then put question in brackets around it. What do you think is the worst case scenario for CIG? The worst case scenario for CIG, most likely, the worst case scenario is that a meteor hits the studio, or there's something like that. But the worst likely case is that CIG would be lumped for a large bill of probably $10 million, something like that, plus possible royalties. No. So in the legal document it says $75,000. Now it basically states that it's in excess of $75,000. I suspect that's because of a particular. They have to say that to meet a certain threshold. So that could mean in excess of 75 million could mean $10 million. I suspect that's the sort of number they're going for. I am pulling that number out my ass, but that's the sort of expected amount. It wouldn't be for $100 million because the game. Because a Crytek wouldn't make 100 million. They could prove that, no, we moved over to Lumberyard or whatever. So Crytek need to prove damages. They need to prove loss of earnings, loss of money that they would have made, the breach of the contract, how much that's cost them, how much they could have made if that hadn't have happened, plus the costs of the lawyers and stuff. And the cost of the lawyers would be substantial probably as well, like several million. Yeah, they're suing in the US, yeah. Bring on the Squadron 42 update next week. It remains to be seen if it will delay anything. with a Squadron 42 release, because the idea of the next Thursday's live stream on the not live stream, ATV special on Squadron 42 on the 21st, is to show off some Squadron 42 stuff, but also give us the schedule for its release and its plans, give us a schedule report so we can see where they are up to with it, see what is left to be done, possibly get a release date, though I think it's unlikely, especially now. But it's an interesting thing. The timing of this case suggests to me, in my very layman's understanding, that it is a attempt to get as much money as you can. I mean, the timing has to mean stuff, doesn't it? It's like, well, they're going to release Squadron 42 now. Let's try and prevent them from doing that. I don't think it's anything much to worry about. I think CIG are doing pretty well financially. Their sales figures are pretty sexual. Yeah, so I wouldn't raise pitchforks against Crytek either yet. We don't know the full story. And there might be some merit to their lawsuit. We just don't know. If you trust CIG and everything, you're a Star Citizen fan, great. Continue to trust them. But just yeah, don't get rage out at Crytek and stuff. I mean, in the future, see, the thing is that Crytek, if they're doing this without any merit or little merit, then they have their games boycotted and stuff. Like this, that won't stand. Their company almost went bankrupt. They started to focus on smaller studio. Just I think it's 2 studios they've got now. They didn't pay their employees for a long time. Loads of their employees left, and then later on joined Cloud Imperium Games. CIG moved over to the Lumberyard engine. So I understand where the salt's coming from Crytek. I also understand that it's probably quite sensible for them to sue if there's any form of merit at all there, because they'll probably want money. They'll probably want to get the name of that engine back. They'll say, look, Star Citizen's success was because of us. That makes sense, doesn't it? They're also they're doing some odd stuff, Crytek, actually. They're releasing CryCash, which is a cryptocurrency for gaming, today or tomorrow. Let's have a look. CryCash. Yeah. So in 10 hours, they're releasing a cryptocurrency called CryCash. How peculiar, eh? It's also interesting to me, all of this, because it just seems odd, doesn't it? What sort of damages does a meteor div hit? Lots, more than $75,000. How do you think Crytek is taking enough to complain? Most of their engine got rewritten because it was crap for what CIG needed. It's kind of irrelevant, isn't it? If they have a contract and they haven't lived up to their contract for whatever, then they've broken their contract and they owe them money. It's as simple as that. It's not sort of what's morally right. It's nothing to do with, oh, isn't it a bit cheeky? It's if CIG have a contract with them, it's black and white, and a court will see that. Contracts may have been broken. There may not be a contract. It may have all been verbal. It may have been the spirit of the agreement or whatever. But we'll have to wait and see exactly where it goes. I mean, exactly what their contracts and stuff were. If it's a settlement, it's unlikely we will know anything more. It will be a closed settlement for an undisclosed amount. Yeah, so it is pretty shitty of Crytek to withhold money from a load of their workers for a long period of time. But in the trying to survive as a company, they would have just gone bankrupt and no one would have been paid. So they were doing that to try and survive. They closed their studios, they stopped paying their staff with the intention of paying them back in the future. I believe was the intention there. Right, let's have a look. What other questions do we have? Who is Crytek suing? Is it CIG in general or RSI or Star Citizen itself? It's CIG for due to Star Citizen not exclusively using the CryEngine anymore. They moved over to Lumberyard for not displaying their stuff. It's CIG for copyright infringement and for breach of contract. So it's effectively Star Citizen and Squadron 42. It's literally cry cash. I know. It's I think that's an odd thing as well. I was really looking into this cryptocurrency, but it looks like the currency might be pre-mined. It might be a pre-mined currency, which is an interesting thing as well. You've got to remember, all these companies want to make money, okay? So, they want to make money. The reason we get annoyed at CIG and stuff when they sell like land claims and stuff is because it looks like they're greedy. But they're only as greedy as they are with ship sales. They want money for developing their game. No delay, Squadron 42, please. Isn't there a risk of CIG's image being damaged to the extent to affect sales? Yes, so if this lawsuit was entirely without merit, which it shouldn't be, there should be some merit to it in some way, shape or form. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have done it in the first place at all. Then, yeah, CIG could sue for damages or counterclaim for damages, which is probably what they'll try and do anyway. They'll say, look, what's likely to have happened in this sort of situation is that potentially CIG saw Crytek breaking part of their contract with them. When it looked like Crytek were going to collapse, they may have gone, well, we're not getting the support we need, or this is unstable, this has broken their contract with us, or whatever, in some way, and then gone, well, we're going to Lumberyard anyway, let's just go to Lumberyard. But there might not have been any official end to that, so we just don't know. That's just a load of me just going, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. We just don't know. Yeah, so Lumberyard, probably one of the reasons that Crytek didn't go bankrupt is because Lumberyard, Amazon bought a large section of CryEngine. I think it's CryEngine 3.8, 3.7. They bought that, and then Star Citizen moved on to that. So technically, Star Citizen is still using the CryEngine and is using the correct logos, which is Lumberyard. But, so it might be worth, genuinely, if this gets like a big thing ever, it might be worth me on retainer in some way getting some form of internet lawyery type person to analyze this for me. We could do it as like stretch goals or stuff for the channel or something maybe in the future. It would be nice to have official stances on things, or people that had no form of bias giving a legal opinion that are professionals. How can Crytek want their name on a game when the game no longer uses their engine? Well, that's one of the cruxes of it, is that they're supposed to still be using their engine exclusively according to Crytek. Give all employees at Crytek a saber raven as pay. Do you think CIG will release a more in-depth statement? Potentially a more in-depth statement to us, just saying, look, this is completely a meritless claim. But it's more likely, and what you should do, is remain silent about the whole matter. Because of the way that Star Citizen's crowdfunded and open development, we want to know. But from a legal standpoint, from them, they don't want to say anything. They don't want to give anything away. They don't want to make themselves liable anyway for anything. They don't want to have any form of admission of guilt or anything like that. So saying anything that could potentially be used against them or as a whatever influence anything anyhow is bad for them probably. Give them their own planet. Someone was saying that maybe CryAstro was named after Crytek. I don't know. Why have they made the Mustang Alpha objectively stronger than the Aurora MR? Because the game's constantly in flux and balance, and I agree with you. I think the Mustang Alpha is a significantly better choice as a starship now. Especially because it comes with cargo container and everything now. The Aurora might actually beat the Mustang Alpha in battle, though, because the Aurora has missiles. Or can have missiles. I don't really want to think of CIG as the type of company to willingly discard a contract with a company their game's founded on. I feel like there's something that we don't know about. Yeah, there's loads of stuff we don't know about, and I say that's one of the issues. They can have open development of a game, but there's going to be loads of shit that we don't see, like contracts for buildings, contracts for loads of different things, and like their financials and stuff, their actual financials, because giving that stuff away removes their ability to have leverage. It removes their ability to stay neutral on certain points and things like that. It would remove a load of their power legally if they just went, so this is our case to us. I mean, stuff like that. It's there's a copyright law that's going to talk about this in a few hours. I will check it out. Thank you very much, Steelrain. Appreciated. Who's Crytek now? So Crytek, the guys that own CryEngine originally. After the Amazon buyout, is Crytek still a real company developing stuff or just holding on to their old IP? So it does smell of that a little bit. So Crytek are developing a game, the Hunt Showdown, I think it's called, which is like a big PUBG, but like 1,000 players or something, someone said. They're basically going to start focusing on FPS shooters again and that sort of stuff, and this weird Crycash cryptocurrency and game development and stuff like that. They're going, they downscaled massively. They got rid of 5 of their studios at least, and a load of employees and stuff. And but they still own their old IPs, I assume. I'm not sure what the contracts were with them, with CIG and with Amazon. We don't know. That's just a major issue here. It's like, and I doubt that Crytek would file a claim like this without any form of merit. Now, it's very possible that CIG did buy out a contract, or there's some confusion here, or Crytek effectively broke their contract when they were going bust. They looked like they were going to go bust and stuff like that. We don't know. Were you playing Star Citizen? It should be. So we've got. I'll load it up actually. Get this loaded. Back to here for now. Let's bring that up. I wanted just to have a chat. Sometimes I just like to sit down, have a chat, be legally bored. One of the other things is that I wouldn't worry too much about this. I doubt it's going to dent much. We'll keep a look at it. Even if like a bad situation happened, it would be like, it would be annoying because it would be like 10 million of our money. But in the long run, it's a drop in the ocean. Do you have any idea if the ships are going to be in-game playable when the game's out? Everything is going to be purchasable in-game and obtainable in-game. Yes. And in 3.0, the patch that's going to come out soon, then this will cost you more in tax. Thank you very much, Christopher Thorne. Thank you very much for the donation. Appreciate it. In 3.0, you're going to be able to buy weapons, systems for your ships, and armor and gear for your character. In 3.1, which should be out end of March, end of April, they are going to be releasing the ability to purchase ships in-game with Alpha UEC. But when the game goes live, everything will be purchasable with in-game currency. Everything will be obtainable in-game. That is a core foundation of Star Citizen. Thank you very much, Nelson Hoover. I love the kind words. I'm the fucking best because I gave my hair to the devil. Yeah, that's what happened. So yeah, Ortwin is a professional international lawyer and copyright lawyer. He also, that's one of the contentions that Crytek have. They said that Ortwin was privy to knowledge because he did some stuff for Crytek previously that he could have used to undermine their negotiations previously and stuff like that. Should I CC you with my Banu Merchantman to a Carrack during the Christmas sale? Oh, I like trading and exploration both. What's your opinion? I would keep your Merchantman. Because your Merchantman doesn't cause you to spend any more money at the moment. And I think the Merchantman's going to be very, very valuable. Probably more valuable than the Carrack eventually. So I would keep your Banu Merchantman. Don't spend money if you don't need to. That Crycash is the cryptocurrency that Crytek are backing and releasing today in like 9 or 10 hours. And then I'll look into that actually because I think that's interesting. I normally use the Euro servers. How good is the frame rates? Boo. Boo. So Euro at the moment. We've got a right frame rate, 25 while streaming, which isn't awful. Draw calls of 40 milliseconds. I do not... Oh no, I do water cool my CPU. Let's have a look at my temperatures, actually. If you want to know. My temperatures. So, I need to overclock my CPU because it's only using 4.3 gig. It should be 4.7. And so it's probably not very hot. They have gone to a maximum of 56 degrees. Currently they're at 44. 40 to 44. It's pretty cool. Oh no, it's not what I wanted to do at all. It's going to kind of just walk around and chat. Hi board, sucking news this morning. What the hell are Crytek doing? So crowdfunded the game. Well, it's nothing to do with morality or what the hell's. It's if they're owed money and they've broken a contract, they're owed money. Simple as that. Yeah, I would have waited to after release as well. I think that's a very odd thing to do, isn't it? I noticed an error message drawing burn down, say, CryEngine. So, even with Lumberyard, there's still CryEngine code in it. I mean, Lumberyard is based on CryEngine. Well, CryEngine is also freely available now, isn't it? Pretty sure. CryEngine freely available?
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Thank you very much, Aaron Hunk. Much appreciated. I think CryEngine's freely available now. Do you think Amazon might help out with lawyers' fees, fines, as they have a vested interest? Amazon would have to get dragged into it, probably. There's no... Potentially, but they've got Altwin and a legal team on retainer at CIG for this very reason if stuff like this happens. So... I'm not offline. No. This isn't offline. This is online mode. We can probably have a look at hover bikes in a second. They're not the best. See, this is a dude. See, someone speaking. Oh, Twerk, I love your face. Thank you very much for the raid. Much appreciated. We were kind of talking just about, you know, lawsuits and shit. It potentially is a cash grab, but if it is a cash grab, there has to be some merit to it, surely. Otherwise, they'll go, nope. And not care. Which is potentially also what they do. Why now? Why would Crytek do this now? It's more than a year ago CIG switched to Lumberyard. Because of timings and things. I mean, it takes a while to get a law case sorted. It would have probably taken quite a long time for Crytek to get the money together, or for someone to take their case. And they've got quite a big American law firm taking their case. So that's one of the things that gives it, like, it's possibly got some merit. Otherwise, it's just going to cost them a fuck ton of money, isn't it? Lumberyard is certainly a better engine at the moment, in my opinion, significantly. It is based on CryEngine, but it's got a massive amount of money behind it and loads of optimizations and improvements. There is an argument, I suppose, that CIG is certainly not selling a product at the moment and haven't sold a product yet because they've just crowdfunded a game. Your streamer abandoned you, so you're raiding yourselves. That's okay. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, a year's a feasible time to build a case, isn't it? I mean, it's certainly not doom and gloom yet or anything in any way, shape, or form for either. Like, it might just get resolved, nice and simple.
All systems online.
I can't remember what I've set my keys to. Is that gimbal lock? That is gimbal lock, which is good. Bam, bam, bam. Let's assume.
Complete.
So they changed the controls last patch, which for me was hell, to be honest. But you can change all your controls back pretty easily. So if you go to key bindings, you can go to advanced customize of controls, and you can literally just load in an old profile or set your controls manually. It was just a bit annoying. First one, like the modifier key doesn't work properly either. So Alt is now free look, but it used to be modifier key. And because of that, you can't like commit suicide or anything like that. Although, as someone said to me the other day, you can just take off your helmet to commit suicide. Oh no, this item's juddering around as well. It's probably going to get me killed when I fire it later and it's inside me. Crytek 1, could they block the release of Squadron 42 for as long as it uses their engine? Well, it's not going to be using their engine, is it? They could request that. The sort of thing they'd say is, look, it's the only reason it's been developed to this stage, or a load of its core, is CryEngine, because it's Lumberyard. They could say stuff like that, but they're after money. They're after money. That's pretty much it. You gotta look at it like that. Let us go. My guy's hyperventilating. Where is... It's around selling at the moment. Security proposed correct. Let's actually do... Oh, we're chilling.
Thank you for getting in touch with me. My husband recently died aboard the Gundo Kovalek station, but the company is refusing to pay out his insurance
Daimar.
because they say he was at fault. It's ridiculous. There is no way that's true. I know my husband. Darnell had his problems, but that is all in the past. I want you to go to the Kovalek station and send me evidence that my husband is innocent. But even if you find out that he isn't, you'll still get paid.
Quantum drive is
I know your
now
time is
on.
valuable, and really, I just want to know the truth. I've attached the insurance claim to get you started.
Will the new Mustangs come with jump drives and beds? The beta will come with a bed. The rest will come with quantum drives. I'm not sure about jump drives. Good morning, good morning. Hello, hello. Feel free to ask any questions you want about, you know, armchair lawyer stuff. Because why the fuck not? I'm gonna go get to Gundo Kovalek's place more Bob. Crytek is being more than fair. No, it's not 75,000 they're asking for. They're saying in excess of 75,000 plus damages and everything to be determined at court. So I suspect that 75,000 is a threshold amount before they can say we want. Before it goes into a certain court. So I suspect like a smaller level of court or type of cases between $25,000 and $75,000. But then it's 75,000 to 10 million. That's my expectations. Oh yeah, it could be just the legal fees or whatever, but it is going to be as much as they can get. And I'd expect that if it was a worst possible situation, I expect it to be like 10 million at least, plus future royalties or something. So it wouldn't be like end of the world, but it would be pretty. It'd be pretty shitty. And you go, oh, CIG maybe do contract better. Yeah, and so Crytek are saying that they wanted. Yeah, I know CryEngine is free now, but it wasn't at the time, or maybe it wouldn't be for commercial releases and stuff. So it's what the contract says, whatever their contract says. There's a contract, and it hasn't been broken by, Crytek. Then CIG would be liable for whatever, for a determined amount yet to be determined. Ooh. I forgot how fast I was going. I can't decouple. See how slidey my ship is? Well, number one, that's partly the current flight model in the PTU, which is shitty. That will get sorted better. But it's also because I can't set my controls properly. So I'm going to be sliding around all over the fucking place when I'm in certain ships. Actually, pretty much all ships. Oh. Gene is now get out of the seat. No, you're not my father, Stizor. I think he's downstairs, actually. I saw him. There's a tree been chopped down in the garden. I assume he just went out and just went, gonna go cut a tree down. Like dads do. Thanks, yeah, nice dodge. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm happier now that Patreon isn't going to implement pledge changes. But the damage for them has been done. I lost like 10 Patreons, but they were all $1 and $2 ones. Because of Patreon being dicks. But also appreciate that it's Christmas. Thank you very much, by the way, anyone that does donate or pledge on Patreon or is just supporting me in any way, shape or form. It is super fucking lovely of you. Appreciate it. So the new way you interact with like consoles and stuff, there's no data pads in this one. Well, there might be. But there's no. The new way is looking at consoles, which look like in the future they may be really interactable. So Covlex has changed a bit actually. We'll see in a minute. Oh, look at my fucking cape. Once they got rid of the clipping and made this a little bit better, the cloth, I think that's going to be pretty cool. Whee! The clipping with my gun and stuff. They actually have a system to cull that, but they don't seem to be enabled it properly. Favorite ship's the Reclaimer, because I'm a massive industry and economy guy, and it's like a big treasure hunting salvage ship. It's big, it's nommy, it's got loads of cool stuff. It's got a nom-nom room. It reminds me of the Nostromo. There's fucking millions of reasons.
Hey babe, I just got the package you sent. Thanks a million for the
So up here you can start to see some of the changes. Not up here. Not up here, in fact.
for the noise. The crew surprised me with a shindig.
Right, we did. Hey, Anya!
Holy shit, is that a bottle of Esquire?
Damn right.
Oh, I like the fact the cloth goes in front of my face as well. It's pretty cool.
Hey, Darnell! Hey! Darnell! Get in on this! Oh, come on!
Jeez, Darnell, look, just one. Maybe a sip. There we go.
Bye, Anya! Let's go. Darnell, one more.
Hey, look, I'm gonna get back to it, but let me know how your dissertation's going. Anyway, I love you and I miss you.
I love you and miss you too.
Bye, babe.
Oh, babe. There is a computer room actually upstairs, which we'll go have a look at in a minute. But there's a few changes which we'll have a look at in a second. I'm looking for these kind of terminals with data on. One of the other things you can do with this mission now as well. So this literally some recovered data. But with the actual mission, I can go to missions. Personal, accepted. I can literally submit the quest anytime I want, once I've finished searching, rather than having to use a terminal here. Is there any other terminals on this side? That one's on, but it's not got data on. Feel free to ask your questions again, LBM, and anyone else. What are your thoughts on the Crytek lawsuit? I mean, we'll be talking about that in general throughout this podcast. This is what podcast, whatever the fuck this is. Yeah, they sell planets to pay for anything. My opinion on the Crytek thing is that I do trust CIG, but there could potentially be some merit to Crytek's lawsuit. We don't know is the issue. We don't know the contracts that they had. We don't know the contracts between CIG, between Amazon, between Crytek, or anything like that. So we will have to wait and see. It's worth cautiously watching. Worst possible situation is that CIG could potentially be lumped with, like, if shown to do wrongdoing, like something like $10 million plus, like, royalties or something. I mean, I am pulling that number out my ass, so be aware of that. I'm certainly no expert on anything like this. Some law at university, and that's English law, and that was like more sort of criminal shit. So, such as in the case of Brown, where there is no rule of consent when it comes to harming each other. We're sadomasochistic homosexuals, where rubbing stinging nettles on each other in a sexual way, and the police came to their house for a drugs matter. It's basically someone had been like seen taking drugs or something at the property, and they turn up and they went, "Oh, well, what you guys are doing is illegal, even if you're consenting to it." So there's no rule of consent when it comes to harming each other. Bored, if you were attacked by a pirate and capture their ship, can you have legal ownership and use it in EE space? I mean, that's an interesting one. I don't know. I suspect that their ship wouldn't be a legal ship. You might be able to get it. It might not count as a stolen ship if you use it. We don't know the mechanics for that yet. I'd hope so. That'd be cool. Project sues CIG for an amount of 75,000 up to 10 million, as per an independence estimate. Yeah, thanks. You said the game is quite memory hungry at the moment. Yes. How hungry? Well, let's actually have a look. It's been optimized in the latest patch. It was like 16 to 20 gig. So I'm using 16 gigs of RAM currently, because 50% of my memory is being used. Got 32. And Star Citizen is apparently using 6-7 gigs of that. So significantly less memory hungry than it was. Let me put this over here, so I can see if it goes up. It goes up to like 7.2. I don't know, Giran. I don't know how much you love me. I mean, you're okay? Is Darnell really innocent here? Yeah, so the reason that Kovalex explodes is because of smugglers fucking around with stuff when Darnell is doing something else. So Darnell might be hungover, he might have some responsibility, but it was mainly the smuggling ring's fault. He had no way to know, even if he was entirely on his A game, that someone else was fucking around with stuff. But at the moment, it looks like it's because he's drunk or hungover. But his supervisor as well knows that he's hungover.
Okay. Hey, just be careful. Sounds good.
So I alt-tabbed there.
Sure you're okay? You sound terrible.
Yeah. It was Scott's birthday last night, so we were all up a little later than we should have been.
Alright. Let me know when you're finished running the test.
Will do.
See, so supervisor knows that he's a little bit hungover, but the reason that everything explodes and everything goes wrong is not because of him. Ah, my baby glass is buzzing out! Oh, no. No, I haven't got a light on my hat either. Where am I? In a box. Don't put me in a box. Is there another data pad here? We've already found 2 in this room, haven't we? Oh, no, come on. Don't be like that. Don't be like that, game. Well, I mean, I don't think it's time to pitchfork or boycott anything yet. Let's watch the situation and see what happens. We don't know if Crytek have a genuine merit for their case. We don't know if they're crash grabbing. We don't know enough. I think you can... and it's quite possible that CIG have acted in good faith, but still have done something contractually wrong in some way. Whether that be by accident or whatever. So we just don't know. I think I've got the door codes now. My Pip-Boy is shaking indeed. Oh, do people want... So, next stream, if you want, I can do the mission givers on stream. I could do a video about that as well at some point. I was waiting for everything to be a bit more stable. Do not tamper. Oh. I want to go in. Let me in. No. How bloody dare you. So I think I go back to the main computer room now. Oh no, maybe not. Oh. Oh, no! Be friendly, be friendly, be friendly.
Hey, wanted to let you know that I got the ops guy's passcode last night.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had pretty good frame rates in game. The latest patch is okay. I don't get as much. 2 patches ago I had my best frame rates, which were 35 to 60 almost continuously for me. I got rejected from the room.
Just be ready at the drop, alright? By the way, had to change over the security stuff. Codes attached.
I mean, I know there's other things in this room, but I literally don't have a flashlight. Oh, it's helmet based, isn't it, actually, flashlights? So let's see if I can change helmets. Just quickly change my helmet in space. No, it's not. Ah, well. See anything over here? No?
Hey, wanted to let you know that I got the ops guy's passcode last night.
Oh.
Took a whole damn bottle of Esquire to do it. Talk about being able to hold your liquor. I set the routine to bypass the monitoring protocols at 1400. The crates should go through, no problem. Just be ready at the drop, alright? By the way, had to change over the security stuff. Codes attached.
Now, actually, they made any changes to this since I last played it. No. Which one I'm looking for? Is this channel? This channel. Codes attached. Now, I wonder if there's anything I can actually open with that I haven't opened before. Oh, that was a CPU spike, which I don't normally get. Not since 2 patches. Yes, Windlord, you can post a link, you're trusted. Good man. Oh. Only other place I haven't interacted with is this system over here. which has a lock on it. Oh, maybe I did interact with it then, because it's got Dono's code here. I like the idea that maybe you could go into the rest of the hab areas and see. Let's just have a quick check. I don't think we can open the other door. It's taking advantage of multiple cores now, and we can see this. Although it still needs a fuck ton of optimization. I'm using 73% of my CPU at the moment. And let's see this here. Actually making use of multiple cores. How cray-cray, yeah? Significantly more optimized than it used to be. That's Lumberyard for you. Fuck you, Greg Deck. 30% with GPU. It doesn't utilize GPUs very well yet, Star Citizen, or doesn't make as use of them as it can. I've got a 1080 Ti though, but only 30%. So yeah, you have with your 970, you've got 35%. Yeah, yeah. Why do people think CIG is greedy as always for trying to get more money? Well, it's just it's right. They're companies. That's all cool, and everything that they raise before release of their game is going back into their game. They've stated that, so they have to do that. We have to hold them accountable for that. Now, some things that CIG do, like with land claims and certain ship sales and stuff, make them look greedy, even though they're no more greedy. Whatever they do, they're trying to go for money anyway. So they're a company. At the end of the day, after they've released that game, and they're going to be looking to make as much money as possible. I mean, they're still going to be not dicks, is the idea. But the reason they're not dicks, and the reason they're putting all that money in the short term back into the game, is because it will make them more money in the long term. Simple as that. Oh, can't open this door now. Nice. I mean, so he was drunk. He was very hungover. He was that guy. So I suppose if you didn't get that one from the other room, it just looks like he's entirely guilty. And now, we can go to missions. We can submit.
I wanted to let you know that I got the information you sent, and if what you
Pretty
feel
quick.
is true, I owe you a very
74 UEC, thanks.
Thank you again. I'm uploading your payment to your account now.
That only cost me my super on it. Good job. I don't have a gun. This guy's gonna come into the station. Oh, fuck. Ah! It's shooting at the wall, glitching around. How annoying. I got my 72 credits, but I lost my super on it and then was killed. I should have hidden the room. So Crytek are claiming to have made the original, or used assets and stuff and helped make the original Kickstarter videos and trailers and stuff. Oh, how annoying. Yeah, so that's the idea, is that $75,000 there is the lower threshold for class action lawsuit, or whatever. Well, I should have taken a gun. But on the plus side, we're back here now, which is good. I mean, we could just go get revenge. Let's do some revenge. Or some revenge.
Welcome to the Port Olisar ship deck. Please press the screen to continue. To prevent traffic, we ask all arriving pilots use the designated landing area. Launch platforms for the departing ships.
A red dot on my forehead. It was. Yeah, I mean, Crytek is saying that CIG willfully breached the contract. But we don't know. We just don't know. I'm running on an 8700K, yeah. No? You don't want to let me in my ship? Apparently I'm not allowed in my ship. Thanks, game. Appreciate it. I did forget my gun again. This is true.
Welcome to the Port Olisar ship deck.
See if I can get into another ship.
Press the screen to continue.
Oh, there's a saber broken at the moment. Oh, let's ignore that one as well then.
Avoid obstructing airlocks. Thank you for your assistance. Space may be lonely, but you don't have to be. Save on resources and expenses. Join the ship share program today and fly together.
Yes, Vulcan support's going to be sexual for this game. In like 1,000 ways. To mess around with the Starkit and Dragonfly. Oh, I'd probably go actually use a time machine to go back to my younger self and convince myself to buy some bitcoins. One of my mates convinced me not to buy them at the time. When they were like $4.
Hello and welcome aboard your Drake interplanetary craft. Your systems are online.
So
Shield system online.
it is easier to drive these things in gimbaled lock mode.
Front impact warning.
Significantly easier. It's a pretty troll ship. Do you think CIG will release a special edition of a ship called The Lawyer? No, I don't. What? Yeah, I know, right? So it's not really about how many subscribers you have on YouTube, just how many views you get, and what network and stuff you're with. I make a decent living off YouTube. Plus, I have the Patreon. Plus, I have the stream. Plus, donations. There's if you leverage your YouTube stuff as best you can, then you can make a good living. Definitely. Have you noticed the sweet little gifs on the Mobiglass left corner? Talking about these things. One of the other things they've added actually in this patch properly is so on ships with 3D radars, it's only got a 2D one unfortunately, you can actually use it like you could the star map in the Mobiglass. You can switch over to that functionality. No, that was just me panicking because I didn't have any guns on me when someone came and destroyed my ship. I was on Kovalex and just completed the mission there. He got me back here quick enough though. I'm saying that Domain is chatting anyway, it's all good. Come on, come on. Don't be like that. This bike's cool. You just hate us because you ain't us or you ain't got Star Kit and Dragonfly, mate. Star Citizen know what their community want. They want lawsuits, they want drama, they want Star Kitten, they want referral contests. Boom. Top left corner in the contracts tab journal. Okay. I'm gonna have to get out of my seat, I think. To see my Mobiglass properly. Well, that's quite cool, that little GIF. Oh, they're all pretty cool, those GIFs, aren't they? Oh, nice. I haven't actually noticed them before. Cool. What's the change that this is a... What's the chance that this is a publicity stunt for their Crycash launch tomorrow? I mean, they didn't mention any form of Crycash stuff. I mean, it obviously is in 9 hours or something. Thanks for the extra money. I mean, it's potentially a publicity stunt. Potentially, it's just unlikely. There are some odd things with the timing, certainly.
Best of luck to you, and thanks for everything.
Oh. That is quite vomit-inducing. Look. Let's go have a look over here and just watch Port Olisar for a while we chat. Pretty chilled out. It's the morning. Fucking ain't been sleeping well. Oh, no. Stop. One day, when we can use all the controls in the way that I want again. They fixed the fucking flight model. They don't have to pay any fucking people for any fucking things that they shouldn't have to pay them for. Leave my licorice all alone. That's not my penis. That's my bike. Yes, so Patreon have now undone their changes that they were going to do to their funding, which is great for content creators. So congrats. I haven't got any footage or anything of that, of doing Eckhart missions. Someone else was talking about it in chat. Certainly didn't do that today. Are you worried about when they allow you to buy anything in-game with in-game currency, that all ships will be very expensive and hard to get? No, so that sort of ship balance will be done with the community. So when I talked to Erin about that in my office tour a while ago, literally, I obviously asked that question. Tell me about progression. Tell me how long you think it's going to take for us to get ships. How expensive ships going to be. What the mission rewards and stuff going to be. And they basically said, well, they're testing mission rewards and stuff now. Progression will be balanced with the community to work out what's appropriate. We don't know exactly how long it's going to take. Expect smaller ships and other entry-level ships to be much easier to get than capital ships. And larger ships, group ships, they're going to be cheaper if you buy them as a group altogether. Some ships, like capital ships, aren't supposed to be bought by a single person. We don't know yet. It will be balanced. Mr. Smart is entirely entirely inconsequential to the project in any way, shape, or form. He's entirely irrelevant in every way, shape, or form to Star Citizen. Can the backers of Star Citizen countersue? Well, the backers can't. Well, I suppose technically somehow they could, but it's CIG are more likely to countersue for damages if that's appropriate. But there's the potential there, yeah, to countersue for damages. But we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. At the moment, it's a load of people stabbing in the dark, not knowing what's going on. CIG have released a statement saying that it's entirely without merit, meritless, and I do trust them. It's just there are obviously some situations where they may, even in good faith, may have broken a contractual agreement. Something that they possibly thought they didn't have to honour anymore, or that had already been broken. But we don't know. We just don't know. I am really fucking tired. I've got quite a bad cold. I'm having to suppress a cough that I have. And I'm good overall. I'm exhausted. And after I'm done with the stream in a bit, I'm going to have a snooze, maybe play some Destiny 2. Just chill. So CIG, your account with Star Citizen within 14 days, I believe, you can get a refund if you're not happy for some reason. If it's for any other reason, you'll have to contact, so if it's after 14 days, you can contact customer service and see if you can get a refund, if you need it for whatever. I've had a refund previously for, I accidentally bought 11 Heralds. I meant to buy 1. I got a refund for 10 of them a while ago. Stuff like that. I'm sure some people like spend thousands of dollars on the game, and then something happens in their lives where they need money. So you contact customer service by all means, but they're not obliged to give you your money back, I don't believe. If CryEngine was not up to the task of running Star Citizen, isn't Crytek the first to breach the agreement? No, because Crytek can't be responsible for their engine not being optimized or whatever. If there's an agreement to use it, there's an agreement to use it. It is literally black and white like that. Now, if something has happened to change that agreement or to break that agreement previously, we don't know. We don't know what the agreement was. It may have been very, very ambiguously written. It might not even be a written agreement. We don't know. Yeah, I don't want any form of, at least from my part or my channel's part, to swarm them with any form of pitchforks or anything. We don't know. We don't know the full story yet. And Crytek could possibly be in the right. I doubt it. But don't know. He could have given us those heralds. I could have. That was when I first started making money on YouTube. I was poor as fuck. I'm still not the best. The nation go. I'm still not. Merry Christmas. I do appreciate everyone who is subscribed, who is patroning, who's watching, who's giving feedback and advice, especially around Christmas time when everyone's fucking busy and everyone's super poor. So it is genuinely appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, so Aaron Roberts said in a forum post that they had outright bought the engine, although that might have been a slight exaggeration. We don't know. There might have been stipulations to what they can do the engine for. It might have been specifically relating to source code, but they might still have had other legal obligations.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Space Jam 666, thanks very much. Much appreciated for the sub. Merry fucking Christmas, me. What tech have you seen in other games that you would like to see implemented in Star Citizen? A release date. That's a good mechanic. Not much, to be honest. They've got everything I can think of, possibly. The economy is going to be an important one for me. I don't know exactly how I want it implemented, but it needs to be done well. And pretty much everything else is covered, quite genuinely. I'd like to see space stations be buildable, probably. Dear Eggman, do you think solo players will be able to survive in Star Citizen without joining an org? Yeah, there are definitely going to be some people to do that. There are definitely going to be lone wolves. I suggest, though, that why wouldn't you join an org, even if it's just an information-sharing lone wolf org? It might be one that you could just entirely... that it's just there to support people that want to run petty bourgeois businesses or be lone wolves. But yeah, you'll be able to do that. It's just, I think that there's a lot of fun in the org and multiplayer aspect. I've been asking myself, how hard is it for CIG to optimize the game in playable 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second? Well, they can probably get quite a lot of optimization if they were just focusing on that and getting one player in the game. Do you know what I mean? For 2019, I have no doubt that I'll get at least 144 frames at 1440p sort of thing. Yeah, they could potentially... it'll be scalable, Star Citizen. I'm talking about like at top settings. There'll just be lots of optimizations over the next couple of years. I mean, they're still building their engine. Nothing is optimized yet. So CIG are getting sued because of a breach of contract and sort of breach of copyright. Hello. It's not a question. I did read it out. So at the moment, we still need to play Eve for Space Fix. Eve, Elite Dangerous, they're both pretty solid games, to be honest. I do love Eve's economy. Can't deny that. And there's a massive appeal for me because I do quite like spreadsheet gaming, and some of the intense action that you can have. No, you don't. If you black out on the Dragonfly, you still stay on the Dragonfly. At the moment, nothing much happens to the Dragonfly if you go through the atmosphere on a planet. It doesn't get killed or anything. It's supposed to not be able to travel between them originally, but they were fucking around with Gravlevs and saying that Gravlevs can fucking fly around. That does annoy me. I don't want Gravlevs to be able to fly around on planet surfaces. I want them just to hover. They're supposed to be bikes. Yeah, so everything I say is my opinion, and as I understand it. It's all alleged breaches, it's all what Crytek say, we don't know the full story at all. And obviously, I probably have quite a significant bias, even if I'm trying to be reasonable and mellow about it, because I'm a Star Citizen fan. And because I see these lawsuits and go, cash grab. Crytek is being sued for not paying their employees. Is that true? I didn't know that. I know they hadn't paid some of their employees, or at least their employees had said that, and some of them not being paid for months, and they could close 5 of their studios, and that was to stop them from going bankrupt, and they sold loads of stuff out to Amazon, which is why the Lumberyard engine comes about. I did play X2, or X3, whatever it was. It was okay, I never really got into it. Do you think we'll see VR implemented next year? Unlikely. I mean, that's something they're working on. I vaguely remember something that Faceware said they were helping with. But we'll potentially see it next year with Squadron 42. I think it's more of a 2020 thing. The starting level of Spore is pretty great, and the rest of the game slowly goes downhill, and then the end game is crap. It is possible that no one is wrong in their dispute, and it is just over contracts interpretation. That is quite possible. But then Crytek probably still want money. Yes, the grav lever is still very unstable. If you go into relative mode, into gimbaled lock mode, and turn off move ahead, look ahead, then it's a lot better. I have my own org called Nomad Black. We will talk about that in the future, though. I don't want to big up or talk about too much about my org at the moment. 100 plants. So there's going to be... I think they've got plans for 120 star systems at the moment. And I'm expecting for a beta of the game, so like end of 2019 maybe, 5 to 10 systems, more like probably 5 for the beta, and they'll slowly expand that, and then for a full release of the game, possibly end of 2020, again that's quite optimistic, maybe 30, 40 systems, and then eventually 120, and then eventually more, I suppose. No, I don't think anyone should sue Crytek for undue stress and damages, especially backers. If Crytek are shown to be acting like dickheads, then you could talk about boycotting their games and stuff in the future. At the moment, it's not a pitchfork matter. It's not a how could CIG do this or how could Crytek do this matter. It's a watch, wait and see. You've got to be reasonable. You've got to be just chill at the moment. We don't know enough. I do genuinely trust CIG though, and I suspect they are probably in the right. But again, it could be misinterpretation. It could be a lot of different things. I really like the idea of a white flag mechanic. So to show other players that you come in peace. That is a really good thing, idea. You could literally have something you could show on your character as an emote, and you could have something that your mobigus says you surrender or whatever. That's going to be good, because that's going to be important for piracy when you surrender to a pirate, or a pirate surrenders to you or whatever. I think that's a great idea. Operation Pitchfork, I'm very much looking forward to that. Greetings. Thank you very much. No worries. In the end, lawyers from both sides will have their pockets filled with our money. Well, not necessarily. If CIG just go, look, if CIG are totally in the right, then it will just be Crytek that loses money. No one, because they have to pay all the legal fees. All the game assets go to Crytek. Is there anyone sexier than BoredGamer? I don't know. I mean, sometimes I just look at myself in the mirror for a long time. Is there a difference between a pirate and a griefer? Yes, massive difference. Pirates are just outlaws that will target other people's ships. They could be NPC ships they target. They could be people's ships they target, and that can be for money. That can be for salvage. That can be to demand stuff from you. A griefer specifically will target people for the intention of ruining their game, eliciting emotional response, being a dick. So a pirate could also be a griefer if that pirate was just going around killing you repeatedly, not because of money or anything, but just because he wanted to kill you, and it was to his detriment, and it literally damaged his money. There was no reason for him to do it. Then yes, he would also be a griefer. But griefer specifically would be someone that is going, fuck the game, fuck any mechanics. I'm just going to ram you repeatedly with all of my ships. Ha 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 ha! I've got more ships than you, or whatever. Not trying to make any money, not trying to play the game. Literally just going after you, or going after someone, or being a dick, or being racist constantly, running around after you, just swearing racism over voice over IP, stuff like that. That would be griefing. Piracy and Outlaws, very different. They give us gameplay. I look like Mr. Bean just then. Well, I do love Rowan Atkinson, so I'll take that as a compliment. And the Germans love Mr. Bean and me, so... The biggest risk, even if CIG is in the right and wins, is that Crytek don't have the money to pay for it all. That's true. They must have some form of assets and stuff, though. I don't know. I mean, I suppose that is the biggest risk, isn't it? We need griefers. No! No griefers! I mean, you can roleplay someone that's a bit mad and being a dick, and someone that's chaotic neutral if you wanted to, or chaotic evil, and you still wouldn't be a griefer. You could do some crazy stuff. Griefing would be going after someone, or being a dick for the sake of being a dick, just to be out of game a dick. There's lots of stuff that's gameplay. I was wondering if there's going to have a link up wraps. What if there's going to have link up wraps for org or group of friends to jump to a location together? Yes, there's going to be quantum linking, so that one guy in a party or in a wing can be the quantum leader, and then when he jumps, everyone else jumps with him. In fact, you can see that on some of the HUDs of the ships in 3.0. I think it was something they wanted to put in 3.0. And it's certainly something that will appear in Squadron 42, I suppose. Well, I suspect it will be. Or do you know much about scanning? How will scanning planets for resources work? Are all scanners the same? No, all scanners won't be the same. There'll be scanners for different things, different size scanners. The basic, like, passive scanners that we have on combat ships at the moment, they're a bit different. Active scanning will be more about finding resources on planets, and prospecting with the prospector and other ships will be a thing of that as well. So you're going to be able to survey planets for resources. Now, we don't know how the mechanics for that are going to work yet. It might be scanners that you place down, it might be vehicles, and some ships can do it, where they literally just ping like a radar into the ground, pew, 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 and get information out. It might be you have to drill down with the prospector to find and take core samples. There might be a lot of stuff you have to do. It's going to be different from passive scanning. Even in space, you'll have active scanning, where you're actively scanning a particular area or zone or direction to try and find more information about what's there. Well, one of the reasons I don't think it's just an ambulance chaser kind of thing, or is because they've got quite a big legal company to represent Crytek, which is just odd. It's an odd thing to say if it's easily dismissible. It's quite possible that it's just down to interpretation of a contract that probably has expired or is no longer relevant. And then that would probably come down to a settlement. If it's like quite ambiguous, or it's like, well, yeah, but Crytek thought this, you thought this, but there was no confirmation, then there would be a small settlement. Off topic, BoredGamer, how are you getting Twitch and YouTube comments on stream together? What software? Restream.io's little voice app, not voice app, little app they do. I'm just displaying it on my screen. I think it's really useful, isn't it? Yeah, so, okay. Say there is a court case. And it turns out that CIGO Crytek money. Now, in the short term, that would be our money, which would be a bit gash, wouldn't it? It'd be like, what the fuck? Don't give our money away. That's our crowdfunding money for a game that you haven't sold yet and haven't finished yet. So I suspect in that situation, it would be the damages. They'd wait until the game was sold, or they'd wait to work out what the damages were, Crytek, until the game had been sold for a good amount of time. And they went, well, you've made this amount of money off the game. That's probably what would happen. And we probably wouldn't see a resolution to this for another couple of years anyway. Might see it sooner. Don't know. Depends if, like, Crytek are trying to block the selling of any of their games to try and get money out of them in the short term. But yeah. It's likely in the short term CIG wouldn't have to pay anything, even if they were in the wrong. Again, pulling that information out of my ass, that's just what I expect from seeing things on the interwebs and reading about other cases. And what's the possibility of zoology module for the Carrack? Finding new life forms and such, probing emergent gameplay. So there's quite potentially going to be ways of getting capturing animals for doing science, xenology, doing stuff with plants and stuff, potentially on the Carrack as well. And they've talked about like containers with different atmospheres, or having different life support systems for things that have different needs. So yeah, that's potential gameplay. In Star Citizen, it is the size that matters and how you use it. Size is a factor. BoredGamer 2017. Wonder if that law firm will be representing them in bankruptcy, and they are actively seeking compensation through litigation of their IP. It's possibly done. Is it pro bono or whatever? Not pro bono. Possibly done only if they win. They get paid. No win, no fee. No, I don't think we're getting any form of video or voice chat in 3.0. Suspect it in 3.1 though with voice chat. Oops, my Bitcoin's crashed. I think the Crycash cryptocurrency has been pre-mined, so I don't think they're actually. I don't think it will be as volatile. I'm not entirely sure how it works, Crycash, once it's released. I read the right paper and I still didn't fucking know. No, so although the CryEngine is currently free and Lumberyard is currently free, it's irrelevant because if CIG had a contract with them previous to that has not been broken by either party previously or been bought out or is not rescinded in any way, then they are still liable to that contract. That's as simple as that. Obviously, it gets more complicated after that with like there's interpretations and oh, no, this has been broken, or no, we're not part of this anymore. We have moved. We didn't say we'd exclusively. Even if they just said we're not exclusively using the CryEngine, they're totally in the clear. Pretty much in the clear, because they went, well, they'd have to prove that CIG said, and then it was not broke, and then the contract didn't expire or anything, or wasn't broken by Crytek, that they said they were only going to ever use CryEngine as their exclusive platform to make Star Citizen. Forever. Never change it. They'd have to have that. And I'm not sure if they do. But we'll have to wait and see. Do you think they will be able to intercept player hells with a herald? Oh, potentially, yeah. So there's going to be E-War stuff, there's going to be info running stuff, and there's going to be detection and decryption and that sort of missions. I'm not sure how that's going to work with players. Obviously, definitely going to be with NPCs and things. I'd hope they could decrypt players' hells and stuff, but the problem is if that could cause massive issues, people would just all move over to Discord and use just Discord. Take care, Taz. The Epoch. Much appreciated. Love your face. Have a good sleep. The Crytek was a good engine back in the day. I don't really know what happened to them. At the moment I have an Orion, Cutlass and Herald. Do you think the Herald will be able to scan asteroids like the Terrapin? Don't know. It does have a utility point on it though, so you could probably change it for some form of utility-based scanner. Yeah, Toast and Autoin are going to have to pull some overtime. I think the Terrapin, again, should be able to scan asteroids in some sense. I'm not sure to what level. So it's quite possible that you can have some form of utility item or scanner that's very good for scanning asteroids, but then you need to get an ore sample from those asteroids, which you do with a utility item or a missile item or something like that. I mean, some people are genuinely talking about, well, why doesn't Amazon or CIG just buy Crytek? And that potentially could happen in the future, I suppose, as well. We don't know how bad the finances are of Crytek. We don't know if it's a cash grab. We don't know if it's generally got merit their case. All we know is that it looks like Crytek are going to sue CIG, almost certainly for just a settlement. That's what they're almost certainly going for. When you see other planets coming in the standard system, 3.1 or 50.5, I suspect we'll see more gameplay area in 3.1. Hurston and ArcCorp being probably the first two we'll see actually now. So on next Thursday, the 21st, there is the Squadron 42 centric special of ATV. I suspect there will be a sale then as well. Some form of Sailor-Majig concept sale. Possibly for like a tank or a tracked vehicle or basically a new tumble vehicle. Potentially a ship as well. Because they were talked about in the monthly report about a ship. They didn't. They just went, and we're working on a ship. Very unlikely to have the Terrapin in 3.0. It still needs some work. Suspect it for 3.1. Do you think you'll be able to buy mining lasers for non-mining ships? Potentially for some. Some ships with utility things. Potentially. Though I doubt it. You might be able to find like a modular ship that can do a lot of different things that would also have some form of mining equipment for it, I suppose. I'm pretty chill about like mentioning Derek Smart and stuff. I won't, if people really horrible or bash him or anything like badly, I won't have that. And the same, I wouldn't have it about anyone. I genuinely think he's irrelevant to the Star Citizen project. Like, he's allowed his opinions. He's allowed to do what he wants to do as long as he's not inciting violence or whatever. He's allowed to. I mean, obviously, I don't agree with anything he says, but he's like, okay. I watch and read everything to do with Star Citizen, whether it be good, bad, or total bullshit. And he had brought up a good point, like how do you hold Kickstarter games and crowdfunded games accountable for actions and stuff like that. There have been some good points in the past that are more general sweeping about gaming that he's talked about. It's just marred by his quite aggressive stance towards Star Citizen for seemingly because salt. But, you know. I don't want to ever bash one person or anything, and I do think everyone's entitled to their opinions. Even if I don't agree with them. And it also gives me a great insight into different people and how they react to stuff and things. I'm pretty chill with trolls and stuff as well, so... Why doesn't CIG implement the demo content they've showed? It appears to be ready. So they, for some reason, I totally agree with you with this. I would rather have a much rawer alpha of Star Citizen from the start, where they just gave us console commands code and allowed us to spawn in half the Idris as it is, the ArcCorp, Hurston, stuff that even if it's just single player, or we could put it as a multiplayer server, even if it's entirely broken, give us the ability to mod, give us all these abilities to do things. Come on. That's another interesting one. Crytek basically said that no one's allowed to see the special secret codes for the CryEngine, but Star Citizen at the beginning said there'd be modding support for it. No word on additional PTE waves yet. I suspect that we'll get wave 3 tomorrow, but that's just a potential. Yeah, so you do get stuff like that. You see, I want a piece of CIG's pie. Look at the money that CIG has raised in crowdfunding, which is going to be a fraction of what the game makes overall. You've got to remember that as well. Like, when that game goes to release, Squadron 42 is going to make a reasonable amount of money. But when Star Citizen gets released, it's going to make a fuck ton of money. And if they sell UEC and have other ways of generating money as well, that game is going to have a big lifetime of a lot of money. And yeah, other companies want a piece of that pie. Media want a piece of the controversy. Controversy for gaming stuff, that's where the clicks are at. Controversy sells. And what's more controversial than a game that doesn't have a release date? A game that's entirely crowdfunded. It's like and you can see the open progress of it, and you can see the bugs, you can see the stuff, the warts and all. It's great. It's great for gaming. They go, controversy, rah! And yeah, cool. It's what it is. It's great for me covering it, to be honest. I thought about this a while ago. I was like, right, I'm becoming more and more a Star Citizen news channel. So, and I'm a Star Citizen fan, so obviously I have bias, and I want Star Citizen to succeed, certainly. But I have a requirement now to cover Star Citizen news, even if it's shitty news, even if it's something that's like Crytek versus Star Citizen or whatever. Like, we want to know the news. I'm going to be a news channel for Star Citizen, and then transition into news and guides when the game's released. Well, obviously I'll do guides, and that's what I'll be doing now any fucking way. But I want to be as neutral as I can be while still having my obvious bias. Do you know what I mean? No, there's no form of active camouflage or cloaking in Star Citizen. They're moving away from that. The only forms of stealth are literally managing your signature and stuff like that. You might be able to put like a cloth over a bike or whatever. I will click that link when they cover boob physics. Nice. Classy. The good, the bad, and the bullshit. Trademark it. Pow! I like that. I'm thinking about starting a... I'm thinking about starting another YouTube channel in the future that would be compressing news articles and stuff in gaming and interesting articles around the world and stuff. Literally a too long didn't read sort of look at lots of different things. I kind of want to stay away from politics though, but maybe you wouldn't be able to. That would be more of a news and hot subjects and hot topics kind of YouTube channel. But, that's something in the future. Always want to think about other things that I could be doing. In like 10, 15 years, do I want to just be managing people's content on YouTube, or do I want to be still running a YouTube channel? You cannot kill what is already dead. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Constant Variables. I mean, I do have rose-tinted glasses to an extent. I mean, this is the game I want, from what they've said. I love the project. I love being able to be part of the community. I love being respected in the community. I love the fact I can generate money from my YouTube channel. There's so many things I love about Star Citizen. But you need to be reasonable about stuff. Like, you can trust CIG, but also understand that there's the potential that even if they are totally in the right, that they might have to shell over some money to Crytek. There might have been something they've done wrong still, even if in the best possible circumstances. That's a potential, but let's wait and see. You've got to be sensible, and you've got to be reasonable to people. Even if people are unreasonable to you, you should still be reasonable to them. Because salt. You can't say me too anymore. Stealth DJ. You can't say it anymore. Oh, is the net neutrality vote later? Okay, thank you. I'll cover that. This is the sort of stuff that some people just don't know much about. I don't know that much about it. And if there was a channel which was neutral-ish, you can never be neutral, I suppose. You're always going to have an agenda. But if there was a channel that was looking at stuff like that wasn't politically motivated or socially motivated, just to compress those kind of things down into 2 minutes noobify or kind of like my-like videos, just for this is what this subject is, this is the story so far, this is how you can get involved, all sides represented, so all sides represented, all sources represented, so you can go and read and understand it for yourself. But this is the crux of net neutrality. This is what's happening with this. This is Crytek versus Star Citizen. If 3.0 PU release is delayed until January, February, does their quarterly release schedule bring from... Yes, their quarterly release schedule will begin realistically from when Star Citizen 3.0 goes live. Expect it, though, for the end of March, end of April is probably more likely. The first one. Think it will be possible to hide behind asteroids to avoid scanner detection? Yes. The environment is an important part of detection. So you can use another ship, you can use an asteroid, you can use dust. That's why chaff and flares work. Do you think it would be a good idea for CIG to do a showcase on their Lumberyard tech? Well, if you go onto the Lumberyard page, that Star Citizen right there. And there's a Vandal. That is the Vandal Driller. That is some Star Citizen.
Lumberyard is very focused on exactly what we're focused on, which is this big online connected gaming experience. And you can see it in what we do.
That's what you were just talking about.
Trying to build a game towards that. It's a big reason why we went with Lumberyard is because no other engine really focuses on that.
When you start designing as a hobbyist game developer, or even as a professional game developer, you want to make that one decision so that you're getting all your features in one place.
We launched Lumberyard a year ago. Since then, we've had 8 releases, over 2,000 new features, improvements, and fixes, and we have some of the world's most ambitious developers building games.
So I just suspect that there's some form of contract with CIG and Amazon Lumberyard. And I suspect that Amazon would have researched any other prior commitments that CIG had. So...
on Lumberyard.
We've made some very deep architectural changes in Lumberyard to address the needs of our developers.
This last year, we've been very hard at work trying to make these deep changes that will result in a fundamentally better product.
With Breakaway, part of the goal was to try to make a game that was as fun to watch as it is to play. Things like Twitch MetaStream, we have the ability to embed these real-time tickers like you'd see watching a sports game like football. It's really about treating players and broadcasters and viewers all as parts of the experience.
On a game like New World, we're heavily using AWS compute and storage resources to offload stuff that would traditionally be inside the studio.
We think about ways that we can help developers build games of incredible fidelity, massive scale,
Talk to you in a second,
and more
Excalibur.
player agency than ever before. That's what the future of Lumberyard is going to be.
Everything went super smooth with my install.
The pace at which Lumberyard has been
has
been really impressive. They realized the cloud is the future.
They're the poster child for Lumberyard.
This is a very unique proposition.
And Lumberyard is based on the CryEngine, which Amazon bought and probably saved Crytek
from an indie
by buying
developer
it.
who's building a small game or a large studio, we try and build an engine that's accessible to everyone.
The more that players can interact with each other, that is the foundation of why we create games.
When we were kids, we dreamed of games this big, worlds this large. We're not compromising.
Amazon and Lumberyard is allowing us to create an experience that will be a very different experience, and then it's free. You know, that's always good too.
Oh, that's a statement at the end. Oh, it's free. That's always good. Yep. It's not so free at the moment, is it, mate? You're fucking having to pay shit in court, maybe. Excalibur, so what's the issue with your Optane drive? I had the 241. I literally just plugged it in. Is yours the... What version is yours first? Is it the PCI Express card, or is it the Connecty other Majigga Mob one? If Crytek have no contractual basis for their suit, are they willing to look to impose cost and dispute CIG at best? We don't know. We don't know. If there's no contractual basis for their suit, it will be dismissed eventually. Potentially, they could be trying to stall a release date of something they know, of like Squadron 42 or something. So they get a tiny settlement, but I find that situation unlikely. It's probably just a confusion or ambiguous terms which Crytek say, well, we can contest this. Probably why they want trial by jury as well. I suppose that would... I don't really know how that system works anyway, so... Yeah, so Amazon make most of their money out of from Lumberyard through their AWS, their Amazon Web Services. So servers and stuff. Which is interesting as well, because we're supposed to have private servers and modding eventually with Star Citizen. And the stock agreement with it doesn't allow you to do that with Amazon, with Lumberyard. But I suppose they could have a custom thing, or maybe we would will only be able to buy servers off Amazon for it. We'd have to rent servers, and then we could do what we want with those servers, maybe. Or maybe they've got a totally custom contract with Amazon, which is quite possible. Amazon could potentially help CIG more in the lawsuit. I mean, Amazon will certainly probably use materials and stuff. I would have expected that Amazon Lumberyard would have researched any of the liabilities that CIG could have potentially had with Crytek. But I suspect that will help them, even if it's just sort of like on the sidelines. Certainly something for CIG and Amazon to discuss if it is more major than just a confusion in a contract, or even if it just is. But deep down, are you worries about the impact of this suit? It's an interesting thing. I think even at worst case scenario, it would be like 10 million out of pocket for CIG, which would have been effectively backers' money, which is a bit of a shit. Although, again, they probably push damages out until the game started selling. I'm worried about the impact of, did CIG disregard a contract? Now, I don't think they would have. I think there may be some confusion, some conflict, or some ambiguity that a contract may have ended or whatever. But the worst possible situation, I suppose, is, did CIG do shit wrong with this? And if so, what the fuck? That's my major worry. Although, that said, genuinely do trust CIG. And I think it's probably all down to just an interpretation of a contract that looked like it was over to CIG, or was over, or whatever. Crytek guy watching this with tears in his eyes. Mate, I was super pro Crytek. And I'm not gonna burn them dead to the ground or anything. I think we need to wait and see. I mean, if it genuinely is just ambiguity or Crytek thinking, hang on, come on, hey, you have some fucking money at least. There might be that. I don't know. Well, it's only going to sell more ships, isn't it? Star Citizen might make some more ships. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that CIG could sell if they ever needed money. But I mean, I very much doubt that CIG are ever going to be financially worried about their game. They're always going to be over a year in credit sort of thing. And I do think it's going to take 250 million to make the game. So we're talking about another 75 million. I do think they'll have that by the end of next year. Probably by the end of 2019, actually. Or mid 2019. Because I'm thinking of Squadron 42 sales and that as well. Oh, Matthew, I don't want to take your final exam for you, but I can wish you luck. Good luck with it, dude. What's it for? Matthew Ives doing his final exam for something. I mean, it smells a bit like the Oculus Rift thingy. But they probably are just going for a settlement, a quick cash settlement. I can see the fuck up being from CIG's marketing department. Let's face it, we've all seen them. The package splitting into essentially 2 games broke the agreement. That wouldn't be a marketing problem. That would be their legal department, to be honest. Or potentially it could be Chris. It could potentially be Chris's fault if the legal department has given him feedback and said you probably shouldn't do this, but potentially you won't get in trouble, and he's gone nah. We don't know this thing. We can speculate. We can go, what's the worst possible thing that could have happened? What could they have done here and here? And wind ourselves up like that. But it's... And I'm called to talk about that as long as people are fully aware that it's kind of almost irrelevant talking about it. Like, not with any weight, anyway. I like to talk about shit, just randomly. Relevant, but still, you know, fun. When Crytek started to fail, Crytek's new licensing mode for its engine, which charges developers a new low monthly fee in exchange for a cut of the game's revenue. Yeah, but I mean, it's quite likely that Crytek are restructuring legally as well and not doing lots of stuff at the moment to try and make money again, to try and get the Hunt on sale to get some exposure, get their Cry cash currency, some exposure and stuff like that. So, I mean, it might be partly publicity motivated. Maybe. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for all the love and everything. I thought that if people want to discuss this shit, we can. And I thought today was the day to do it. I'm not a drama channel. I always thought I could make a lot of money if I moved into doing drama and that sort of stuff. It's not for me, I don't think. Sid Alpha does quite a good job, actually, of that. When behind his tiny little channel, I chatted to him for a while. He's relatively neutral, normally quite cynical about stuff, but he does good breakdowns of stuff like this. When will loading bay and stairs be fixed and functional in constellations? They do work occasionally. The actual main loading bay and ladders. The ladders are the issue, aren't they? I suspect it'll just be in a patch at some point this week or next week. Yeah, I mean, if Crytek have got no merit to their case at all, then they'll have their games boycotted, and it will be a major blow to them financially, which they don't want. Yes, the X370s are significantly better than the B350s. The motherboards. Yes, having those 2 extra cores or 4 extra threads is pretty good. 1 second, I'll be 3 seconds, guys. Just need E. I am going to buy so many spaceships.
Finger guns from Texas.
No, who's donating? Well, I'm not even in my chair. No. Sorry, the phone went, and I had to make sure my potatoes are out of the oven. That's not a euphemism. Thank you very much. Oh shit! What? Steel Shark. Thank you. Finger gun. Thank you. It's like running back. I'm so sorry. Apologies. Oh, right. Question. I heard many say the 1060 is the lowest card that many consider for Star Citizen. Yeah, 1050 Ti isn't powerful enough. Just isn't. The 1060 is great. Get a 1060 6GB version. They're solid graphics card. They're better than a 980 now. Oh. I'm so out of breath. So fat. Got a slight cold. Oh. The chair is playing a game. Yes. No, that's not a potatoes on the oven. Does not mean I'm having a shit. We're donating to the chair, not you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm good. Question, is all Star Citizen music free to use in your videos on YouTube? So, with Star Citizen music, most Star Citizen music, and gameplay and logos and stuff like that, you can use it freely as long as CIG and Star Citizen allow you to. So, at any point they could revoke that. That's part of their terms of service, that's part of their end-user license agreement, that's part of their YouTube and media content creation for their stuff. If you want something very specific, it's always worth asking them. So many spaceships.
Would you like a laptop, sir?
I would like a laptop, sir. Thank you very much, Steel Shark. Steel Stark. Sharky Stark. Thank you very much, Steel Stark. Oh my god. Oh, fucking hell. Thank you very much, Steel Stark. Appreciate it for the donation. I'm losing my mind. If you guys are interested in the Crytek lawsuit, Leonard French, an actual lawyer, is live streaming in about 90 minutes. I will watch that myself, Slow Rider. Thank you very much. You can chuck the link down there if you want. I'm always up for people having more information about things. They can watch and listen, and you always make up your own minds. It's all a good thing to do. Even if you're living stuff from trolls or people with huge biases or whatever, it's always okay to listen to stuff. It's not going to affect your mind as long as you have an open mind, in my opinion, anyway. Yeah, so 1050 and 1052 aren't awful cards. They're just, the 1060 is just so much better. Don't let DC say what? What did I say? What card DC let me? I love you, DC. Is any of your work? Oh, no, the 1060 is better than the 980 is in. His graphics card, his 980 isn't even supported by NVIDIA anymore. So, Zinnia and Deathcore and people, you will start seeing on my stream. They have their own streams, which we're going to start promoting as well. They're going to be playing Star Citizen with me in the future. They are my proper friends I play games with. And I feel like I need to give them something back for having to deal with me for so long. I've gone through severe, madness with them when it comes to, being a grumpy, salty little bitch gamer. And I still sometimes, oh my god, I've entered a door. When can I fly my fucking javelins? I know you, Rich. You need to tell me. I genuinely think that you will be able to use capital ships in 2018. I think we will have capital ships and capital ship battles in 2018. And madness! Madness! But I think that they're going to start to get there by then. The object container streaming comes online. Those ships are actually pretty much done. They just need to get some of the network tech up to scratch. They don't need server meshing or anything. They just need to get some of the network tech up to scratch, and then the streaming stuff, and then they can start working on those large-scale multi-crew ships. But they've got all the backbone of it there now. But yeah, Zin and DC and Zen and G, and some of the other guys that you've occasionally seen on my channel, but not really with Star Citizen, because they need a fleshed-out game to play it properly. Zin and DC especially will get very stressy at Star Citizen when it's buggy. They'll be like, no, done. like I am with pretty much all games that I lose at. But Christmas time and New Year's will watch us play some other games and stuff. And also, I fucking love you, Zin. Love you to see. Love you, Zin. So about beds on a group ship, if the owner lays in a bed to log out, will the ship despawn with the other person still in it? No. There'll be some oddity. There's bugs and stuff at the moment with it. It doesn't properly work at the moment. If you log out on your bed and then log back in, you'd have to log back into the server with a friend in it to log back into the same server that you were in for that bed logging to have worked. Otherwise, it kind of resets it and you just respawn back at Port Ossa or whatever. And that's just bugs with the PTU at the moment and the first implementation of the log out bed stuff. In the future, the idea is that you will log out on a bed, you will still persist in that bed when you're logged out, sleeping. No one else can use that bed while you're sleeping in it. And your ship won't just despawn if there's other people in it. So everyone will have to go to sleep for the ship to despawn. And when one person spawns back, the ship will respawn. That is the idea. There may be some changes to that, but that's the intention currently. No, it's literally a food baby. No, it's a food potato. It's food! It's not poo, it's not a real baby. Shouldn't you be co-streaming with WTF Saurus or Twerk17? I don't even know who they are. Yeah, I will start doing that. Once we have a more stable build of the PTU and we're all up at the same time. There's time zone issues. I mean, in the mornings I'm normally quite busy, typically. Lex Can, thank you very much for the sub, very much appreciated. I was, around Christmas time, I'm always very humbled by people donate. Aventador, you're fucking mental. Thank you, in the best possible way. I hopefully didn't offend anyone by using the term mental. I feel, as someone that is bipolar and suffers from anxiety disorder, I can own that word. So, thank you so much, guys. So much. Yeah, thank you. Merry fucking Christmas. Do you think the Star Sea is going to be... Do you think Star Citizen... I thought it was talking about a ship. It's going to be like Eve, where you parked all your ships all over for tactical purposes. Potentially, yes. For that particular thing. Oh, Zin, I'm like 2 minutes behind, so when I see you say yes, no...
Tricksy little hobbitses.
You done, man.
Thank you very much, Beowulf. Okay, when you get home, Zin, I will have had documented proof, maybe slightly biased, to the 1060 outperforming the 1080. Now, yes, the 980 definitely outperforms the 1060 in some ways, but the 1060 has more compute units and actually has drivers that are written for it. So in a lot of games, it does actually outperform the 980 now, although the 980 is technically a more powerful card, I think. And I'm talking about the 1060 6GB edition, and the 980, not the TI version. 1080 Ti or nothing, I know, right? Make sure you get a laptop, not the external GPU, as J2 Cents checked the externals and said they're useless and not worth the money. Excalibur, can you PM me that? Because I think, well, I think Gigabyte, maybe, potentially, are sending me a 980 enclosure for laptop to review, so I'll know about that. But reading materials and watching other people's videos on them before helps me a lot, because it gives me an understanding that I might not already have. Yeah, so yeah, potentially, as long as you're not running over 1080, 1080p, maybe you could get away with a 1050. I want 144 frames at least in Star Citizen when it's released. So I always think that like you need a 1080 or you need a more powerful graphics card, that sort of thing. So. Your Toastmaster, in your situation, if you need the money, if you have a load of Star Citizen ships and you need the money, contact CS first and see if they can help you out. Then they're not unfeeling arseholes. They will help people out in certain situations. Otherwise, then you can check like Star Citizen refunds on the Reddit or whatever on the grey market and try and sell it. And if you are going to sell it, sell it either to someone that is known there or sell it through a third-party thingamajig, a third-party store. That's my suggestion. In the released version, what if you get disconnected while flying solo ship? Is there a longer delay to spawn on a bed? Yeah, so we don't 100% know. We're not sure how long you'll persist, but I suspect you'll just persist there for a long time if you don't have a bed, or do what Eve does and your ship will like spin around or whatever. You will be able to log in quickly though. If you just get disconnected, that will be an ungraceful or disgraceful disconnect. So the system will log that that's happened, and then you will be able to log in very quickly. Is the idea. If you want to relog. And in the full game, you'd relog immediately where you just logged out. So the item system 2.0 is there for weapon mounts and attachments. What we're going to have for 3.0 and in forms of scopes and weapons and mods, I don't know yet. Been watching your videos from US for weeks. Now catching up with you live. Love your face. Thank you very much, Lexicon. I love your face as well. I don't know, Zin, I'm minutes behind. Don't know what you're replying to. I assume it's because of how attractive I am. And DC's been like, that man's attractive, and you're like, not that. Oh, computing units are a different way of graphics cards computing data for newer techniques and stuff. You also, like, compute units are normally very sought after, I believe, for some Bitcoin mining and stuff as well. But obviously some programs and some games will make more use of them. But pum pum. Bratting. Do you think this Crytek lawsuit is going to delay the game in some form? Potentially, but I'm hoping not. I think CIG will probably just push through it. You know, fuck it, we ain't done anything wrong. Woo. What's the lowest ranked CPU you would consider for Star Citizen? Lowest ranked is probably a 2600K. But really, I would recommend 3rd gen or higher. And we're on the 8th gen of Intel CPUs now. So yes, your GT 1030 will die. I'm going to buy a Crycash and refund it. I don't think you can refund it, probably. I'm not really sure how it works, the Crycash stuff. Oh, I will look into it later when it releases it. With Intel and CIG collaborating, that was an interesting one. My chat went. With Intel and CIG collaborating, do you think Star Citizen will be better optimized to run with Intel CPUs instead of Ryzen CPUs? I would suspect that Star Citizen will try to be optimized for everything as best they can. And try not to favour one over the other. That said, with CIG collaborating with stuff like the Optane drives and other hardware, potentially, yeah, it could be optimized better for Intel. Typically, Intel will have better CPUs because we look at history and we say what CPUs are better for gaming. It's always been Intel. Well, it's been Intel for fucking ages. But we'll have to wait and see. It's the sort of thing that, again, most of today's stream has been speculative. If anyone had... Oh my god. Board coin coming. Oh my god. Mind the shit out of board coins, mate. Your eggs. Will they log out low graphics setting to force people into playing the game into looking good, making coding easier? I'm not sure what you mean, Tingle Tangle Bob. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that question is, sorry. See, you've got a GTX 970, great graphics card, running Star Citizen at 30-40 frames. It's, you know, game's super unoptimized, so it doesn't make use of your GPU or CPUs very well. It probably makes significantly more use of your CPU than it does GPU anyway. So yeah, so we potentially get some more Titan Suit info on the holiday live stream. Well, I say holiday live stream. That's incorrect. It's a ATV special, so I believe it's a pre-recorded video. they can sell those on concept and they'll make a lot of money from Titan suits when they're ready. $980 Ti is a fucking great graphics card, I think. How does it work if you log out on a friendship in a bed and they're not there when you get back? Eventually, when you log on and you're on someone else's ship, the ship will still respawn. That's the intention of that in the future. I don't know what that's going to be like for 3.0. I suspect buggy. Yes, CIG has collaborated with AMD in the past. They're going to want to collaborate with everyone they can when it comes to hardware and stuff. They had the AMD Mustang Omega. I was asking WO Source which cards will work. He said my Voodoo 1 GTFX would be fine. Oh my god. I think I've got a Reaver TNT 2 somewhere. It's a bit more advanced in your Voodoo. Oh my god. Is that the first 3DFX card? Or was it a Voodoo 2? Is that the first 3DFX? Jesus, man. You could chain those bad boys. How hungry is Star Citizen on graphics card memory? I think it gets like 6 gigs, 7 gigs of my graphics card memory used. Which is a lot. It was an imposter if it was on Redacted's podcast because I was pretty ill. Turned up and went, I'm feeling rough. And Twackosaurus weren't annoyed or anything. They just went, okay, no worries, we'll get Crucian. He's better than you anyway. And I cried. I just cried for several hours. You like Bramley apples? What to eat? Bramley's a cooking apple. You can't just munch into a Bramley, you fucking monster. If Bitcoin is only ever going to be 21 million, and at 1,300 per coin, yeah, I don't know how to answer that question. I'm not sure if that's a question. So got the 1060 6GB, but it's an old workstation with dual 3.0 gig Xeon 4 cores. Time to upgrade. What workstation is it? What generation of Xenon does it use? You can get some really cheap Xenons that will give you some fucking great upgrades. And with a 1060 in, you're probably going to be okay for a while. The instruction codes on those Xeon chips, the older ones, probably aren't the best. But you've got loads of cores, and you've got a potential of upgrade for like 20 quid, getting another couple of significantly better Xeon chips for that workstation. So do some research and grab something on eBay. You can find you'll find like a processor that you're like, oh my god, there's 600 quid for processors for this still, and it's 7 years old. But then you go one processor down, which is almost as good, and they'll be like a tenner each. CIG is both under US and UK law. I think actually Cloud Imperium Games is pretty US, but because they have studios across the world and multiple companies, it's complicated. Yes, so in 3.0 at the moment, you have more complicated graphics options. So this is the PTU, got more and more complicated graphics options. This will expand out. Obviously, there'll be the ability to do user.cfgs and stuff as well, probably. Oh, Banshees! Oh, shit. Yes, the Star Citizen will be very scalable when it comes to settings. I'm not sure if they enable lower settings than right now. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that, but they will be incredibly scalable for low-end and high-end PCs. And they will have very, very low graphics, crappy, but high frame rates, I suppose, for people that are into that. For esports! I'm glad they haven't talked about esports recently, thank God. Is the Mustang Alpha have any info besides the concept art available, what it will look like? I think as a starship, it would be well featured. Yeah, it's going to have proper landing gear now. It's got its weapons are on its front nose turret, 2 size 1s. You can have another 2 size 1s on the wings. we've got it in game at the moment. Obviously, that's not the reworked one. It's being reworked. It's gonna you're gonna get in it through the actual cockpit now. At the moment, you get to the Mustangs through like some of them through the ring in the middle. That's just going to be a standard fighter cockpit. And you're going to be able to have it comes with the Mustang Alpha a cargo container as well. Get more for your money with the Bramley. Yeah, but it's a cooking apple. Come on. Let's stew it on the go. Indeed, come on. I mean, yeah, so with your dial precision, just keep the 1060 in there. You'll be fine for a while, I'm sure. As long as you've got like at least 16 gigs of RAM, just keep that for a while. You having massive issues on other games? I mean, it's quite a smart, cheap system. I think you built that. Is there any way you can overclock those CPUs either, or is it like entirely locked out? When are co-pilots going to be useful in game? I'm thinking non-turret seats on the Connie and Cutlass. Technically, with 3.0's release, you can have co-pilots doing cool stuff. I mean, you can definitely have them operating shields and doing some stuff with power, and even operating turrets. So it's not going to be its full multi-crewiness, but it's going to be reasonable. I got myself a reclaimer not too long ago. I haven't had much about how exactly the salvaging works. Do you have any ideas? Yeah, so you're going to have grabby arms and tractor beams and drones that will push it in to the into the reclaimer, which will then munch it up in its grindy room. That is basically how salvaging is going to work, and then materials will be sorted into different areas. That's the simplicity of salvaging. One of the other things, I suppose, with salvaging is that that's for grinding up components. You'll also be able to reclaim some bits. So you'll like see a wing of a ship with the gun still attached. So you'll want to detach that before pushing it into the reclaimer. Because that'll be something you can sell as is. I'm using a 900M series GeForce laptop. I don't know what 900 graphics card that is. If that's like a 930 or something, then that would not be appropriate for Star Citizen. If it's a 960 plus, then maybe it would be okay-ish. How is the tech for jump points going? I don't know. I suspect that we won't see much on... We may potentially see stuff on jump points in Squadron 42, though I doubt it. Actually, it makes sense with Squadron 42 that maybe it's almost entirely in the Stanton system. Which is why they're doing the Stanton system first. Will the other Mustang variants be able to mount cargo boxes? I don't know. All the hulls are slightly different for the Mustangs. They're variants. So maybe not. Oh, Crimson Fire, yeah. So in worst possible circumstances that I foresee, is that even if CIG are in the wrong and lost stuff, it wouldn't affect the project that much. I mean, it'd be annoying. They'd definitely lose some faith, especially it was like, oh, they can't sort contracts out properly. It could be like $10 million for them, though, and that would be effectively crowdfunded money. It could be potentially more after they start selling as well and stuff. So we'll have to wait and see. I suspect that it's almost certainly more just a interpretation of contract that CIG think has been resolved and finished, or rescinded, or removed, or whatever. My RAM speed is 30,000 megahertz.
I'm gonna buy so many space.
Oh my god.
Merry Xmas Board. Thank you for
3,000
keeping
megahertz
all
for
the
my
citizens around the verse up to date with useful Star Citizen information. I look forward to your videos every day.
Thank you very much, Lieutenant Roberson. Roberson. I don't fucking say your name. Lieutenant Browson. Thank Thank you very much. I fucking love your face. Very much appreciated. I've got... It's 3000 megahertz RAM, DDR4. I can't remember the exact make or anything, even though it's right in front of me. It's Viper, it's cheap. And it's less important than it was in the previous patches, the amount of RAM you have. So I'm thinking 16 gigs. Probably good, probably solid amount now. It was like 20 before. We don't know what types of drone they're going to be, other than salvagey drones and probably scout drones and potentially defense drones. Talking about reclaim mode, do you think we'll be able to use the multitude to detach weapon from a derelict? Yes! I think that's the sort of thing that we will be doing. We're going out using either drones or players, going out and detaching like a weapon or a system or something out of a partly destroyed ship before grinding it up. Fuck Crytek, I don't know. We can't really make that statement yet. We can't pitchfork. We can't get too pissed off yet. We can be like, Just watch cautiously with Crytek versus CIG and remain calm and vigilant. I suspect not much will happen, and then there'll be like an out-of-court settlement for a couple of million or something. But even the worst possible situation, it probably wouldn't be that bad, so... Is the Reliant even considered a starter ship anymore like it used to be? It's a second-tier starter ship, whatever the fuck that means. I'm not a massive fan of the Reliants. It's expensive, that's the problem. It's more expensive than like an Avenger Titan, so I'd go for the Avenger Titan. If you have a 970M, you can compare it with the 960 desktop. Yeah, that makes sense. On rework, I'd go for the Mustang Alpha. It's my preferred starter ship. Because it's got cargo now as well. It's got cargo, it's got speed, it's got class, it's got sass. Swag. What's more important? Crytek lawsuit or Disney buying Fox? I don't care about either, really. Well, I do. I care more about the Crytek lawsuit. I think it's relatively irrelevant, really, to my life and the greater things and mysteries of, is there a god? Why are we here in the universe? Things like that. What was your FPS on 2.6.3? I think I had around 80 in single player. I'd get solid 60s, 50s to 60s in 2.6.3 in multiplayer. No, so there needs to be a valid advanced flight control key binding chart coming soon. In the short term, you can either go into the profiles in controls. Show this on screen. So, one of the gash moves they did with the latest Star Citizen is they changed the controls but didn't update these charts properly. So it's actually G to leave seat now. Alt is look rather than second modifier and stuff like that. So it's pretty fucking annoying. But you can go into advanced customized controls and change all the controls here. Literally just double click on something and change it. But you can also set the controls to what they used to be with these control profiles. Just go here, click on one of them, and it will set them back to what they were. Is there any disclosable information you're allowed to tell us about snub fighters being able to reattach and detach from ships? No, no more than you already would know. I was hoping that we'd have it in the ability to detach and redock in 3.0, but it doesn't look like that. It's going to happen anymore. It might. They have been doing animations and things for those Merlins. There's nothing more I know about them, unfortunately. Can you actually tell the difference between, say, 90 frames and 120? Yes, very much so. I can tell the difference between 120 and 144. A lot of people can. Some people can't. But what you will notice more is once you have higher refresh rate, and then try to and do that for a prolonged period of time, at least a few hours, and then look at the lower frame rate, lower hertz rate and frame rate, then you notice it a lot more. I significantly notice 144 frames and hertz rate compared to 300 frames at 144 hertz still on Overwatch. You can tell the way you aim, the way you move. The BBC just published an article, Star Citizen game makers being sued. Nice. It's a good job I made that video then, wasn't it? The humour, I can't even see more than 24 frames a second. Shit, you're right, Sin. Uma! It's fucking, oh my god. The human eye doesn't see in frames per second. But it certainly can tell the difference between smoothness. And at 24 frames per second, I'm having my eyes sanded constantly when playing Star Citizen, okay? For our parallel universes, then we're surely in the monoverse, and not a universe. CIG have played it safe, calling it the verse. Also, are we discussing a space simulation in a simulation? Yeah, why not? Yep. At 24 frames per second. What's the point? It's so cinematic. Have you been able to test the mission givers yet? So, I have done a load of missions, and I've started to talk to Miles, but I haven't had much success, to be honest. I am going to, tomorrow probably, try and make a video on it. I'll do a fuck ton of missions, see if I can speak to Miles or Ruto. Or both. Right, I decided to use this. Oh, thank you very much, Random Schmo, for the host. I am going to go pretty soon, though. I'm pretty hungry. Does anyone got any other major questions that they want to talk about the lawsuit, about Star Citizen, about 3.0, whatever? Jettisoning a single cargo crate, is that a thing? You'll be able to do that by hand. Eventually, in 3.0, it's not really a thing. Well, in 3.0, you could technically jettison, if you put a crate onto your ship, literally picked up and put a crate on, you could pick that up and chuck it out. There'll probably be some cargo ships, like the Hull C, for example, which you can probably jettison individual crates off, or turn off the magnetic pads so they float off or whatever. But you can certainly chuck individual crates out of an airlock. The other thing in 3.0 is that when you buy commodities, they are stacked in your hold, so they can't be detached from that stack until you sell them. Do you suggest me getting this game over Monster Hunter World? Oh, if you're looking for a sit-down and play game, Star Citizen is not there yet. It is a project which you'll be following for at least another couple of years before it gets anywhere near close to a release. So bear that in mind. If you're looking for a game to play, then get Monster Hunter World in that situation. If you love the project, if you love the idea of Star Citizen, then you probably shouldn't ask me that question. Wait a bit longer. Get Monster Hunter World in that situation, definitely. Yeah, so 24 frames per eye, so technically 48. That's a good point. Good. I strategically only played Star Citizen for the last few months, so I can put a tolerance to low frame rates. Oh, fuck. Will you be streaming during the holiday broadcast to discuss, or only to report on it later? I don't know, Booth Therapy. Boo therapy. I don't know. And the Western names. I haven't decided yet. So tomorrow we get a Squadron 42 newsletter, and we probably get more information on the Squadron 42 ATV special, and if there's going to be any like sales and stuff. So I'll work it out then. People desperately want me to do a holiday broadcast to discuss it live, whatever, I will. Or look at some of the other redacted or other Star Citizen content creators and see if they want to do something. So the cut spec is supposed to be able to jettison the canopy, but I haven't figured out how to do it. It's not in 3.0, that's fine. And you will be able to jettison that canopy in the future, though. It might make it into 3.0 live. I do want a cup of tea, but also I started making a roast dinner, I think. When was the lawsuit filed? 2 days ago, on the 12th. Yeah, I know, right? I am pretty shattered. I got up early this morning because I couldn't sleep, because I was I'm a bit ill. Squadron 42 Vertical Slice is what I'm expecting to see or next Thursday, Thursday the 21st, the ATV special. That is what I'm expecting to see, a Vertical Slice of in some description. Is there a real danger that Crytek can stop CIG from developing any of Star Citizen? There is a very minor potential that that is a possibility. I'm not going to put it out. There's a possibility that I'm in a lizard in an alien skin, in human skin, not alien skin. No, what? So they will say stuff in court and with their letters and stuff to try and get as much money as they can out of CIG. So them putting an injunction and saying you can't develop this game was sort of things they do. Though they can't really say that because it's being made in the Lumberyard engine. And I don't believe Crytek would have any rights to the term or word Star Citizen. But we'll have to wait and see. Have to see what their contract says and what happens. Very likely to be a very small settlement out of court. I say small, several million probably. Or to be dismissed by the court if CIG are totally 100% in the right with no ambiguity. If you subscribe to the RTV on the RSA website, you get access to the PTU now, yes. Have you tried putting a Nox in a Cutlass? Yes, it works. Oh, no, the Dragonfly works. Did I try it? I think I tried Nox. Works with Dragonfly. And you can sort of land it in there. I love the Monster Hunter Series 2. I'm playing Dauntless. Dauntless is okay, but it's a lot more shallow than Monster Hunter World looks, and I'll definitely be playing Monster Hunter World. Probably be playing it on the channel. I am looking for other games to play on my YouTube channel. It will be mostly like at least 95% Star Citizen, but I'll do occasionally VR, and I'll occasionally do a video of another series, like Monster Hunter or whatever, and then put it on my like BoredGamer Extra channel or whatever. What country has the suit been filed in? I believe the US. But yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Very much appreciated. Thanks for joining the stream. Thank you for all the monies and the donations and the subscriptions. Let's see who else is actually streaming at the moment. I'll answer some questions while I find someone else to host. I will try and stream as much as I can. It will be at erratic times, though, so just bear that in mind. Oh, fucking Twerk's on, which is great. So we can go host Twerk again in a second. Twerk to show you some actual gameplay with his sister. Say hello to his sister for me when we go there. Do you think CIG will allow orgs to use in-game billboards? I hope that they do. I hope you can buy billboard space with UEC and with real money. That would be great to fund Star Citizen with for long periods of time. If, like Coca-Cola, after they bought space in game for ads, but they have to make it in law. So it has to be fitting to Star Citizen universe. I think that's a great way of funding the game for a long period of time. I think that 3.0 will get into everyone's hands by Christmas, yes. I'm very much expecting that, even if it's just a PTU. PTU for everyone. I'd hope for a live build by the end of the year, but we'll see. Wasn't one of the main points in the lawsuit CIG had an exclusivity agreement with Crytek? Yes, that's what they said. They said in the lawsuit, from Crytek's point of view, they said they would only use the CryEngine, which seems an odd thing to say. But where's best to buy a graphics card in the UK? eBay or Overclockers or Amazon. Check all of them. It's going to be early to mid 2018 for a release of Monster Hunter World. That's what they've said. That's the latest thing I know about it. How much money did you spend on this game? Not actually as much as people would probably think. I probably spent $3,000 plus giveaway stuff. I can justify that all through content and stuff as well. I'm quite thrifty. Also, if you click the Crytek logo and see CIG's website, it redirects to Lumberyard. Bit of a gaff. Lol. Any reputable supplier. But Overclockers are pretty solid, aren't they, Zen? Eh? Eh? eBuyer, Overclockers, Scan. Overclockers have normally got quite good prices. I like eBay because cheap. But you might get sent a brick. Right. Fucking love you guys. No, I'll be getting a Javelin for free. So, referral contest. For everyone that gets 2,000 recruits gets a Javelin. I'll have 2,000 recruits probably by March of next year. See? The powers of making Star Citizen tutorials. Haggis is good. Haggis tastes like shepherd's pie, basically, with oats in it. The gravy flavours it a lot. Haggis is you can get quite nice haggis. I've got a really nice butcher's near me called Upton's of Bassett, which does amazing haggis, amazing black pudding, and the best sausages in my opinion, in the UK. It wins awards every year for having some of the best sausages in the UK, but I think it's amazing. One day, you can get terrible haggis. You can get terrible black pudding. So bear that in mind. In some way, you can just get terrible food. I'm at 1,850 at the moment. Recruits and 2,300 referrals. In addition to that have yet to convert to recruits. Musk sausages are best? Nah, as in we'll have a sausage off. That's not a euphemism or anything. But yeah, thank you guys. I fucking love you. We're going to go raid Twerk. Does this work? So we're going to... Feel free to ask some questions, because it'll be like a minute or anything before I can fucking work out how this shit happens. Twitch, BoredGamer. Amazon owns Lumberyard, yes. And it's CryEngine based. /raid. Now, please say hello to Twerk's sister for me. And give Twerk a lot of love. Can I come aboard your javelin? Quite possibly, Constant Variables. I oddly trust you, unfortunately, to probably my detriment. I've not seen the interview by Big Fry. I will probably look at it at some point. I suspect it'll be damaging to my brain, but I will still watch it. No, this does not mean that CIG is done in any shape or form, even at worst case kind of situation. Obviously, the trolls will go, nah, we knew this all along. Worst possible situation is probably a load of money from their final sales when they start selling the game. But we'll have to wait and see. CIG have said there's no merit to the case, but we'll have to wait and see. We will probably do board cooking at some point in the future. That's probably a couple of months away at least. But thank you very much today, guys. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the Patreons. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the donations. Have a really great Christmas. I will be streaming as much as I can. Give some love to Twerk. Love your fucking faces. No. No, referral raid. No, I don't want referral raids. Okay. That's Twerk's sister. Say hello to her. Right. Fucking love you guys, and I will see you soon. Mwah. Feel free to message me, email me, or whatever as well if you want to ask any questions or need anything.